3 weeks ago, I received an email from a client of mine that literally made my heart sink. And in a moment, I'll introduce you to him and share his story. But let me start by asking a question. What is it that is holding you back from making videos? If you feel like you've got a message to share, if you want to have more impact and influence in your community, if you're wanting to increase the income in your practice, then there's no more powerful form of media than video. Now I realize making videos is not as simple as grabbing your mobile device, holding it up in front of you and hitting the record button. For many of us, there are a whole bunch of fears that we need to get over.
Well, I think fear was definitely part of that, but not just fear of what people would say or do, the technology. That was one of the things that we talked about.
Now that's my client, Rob.
Hi, I'm Rob. I'm a chiropractor in Peterborough, Ontario in Canada here. And I've been in practice for 23 years.
And 4 months ago, he had literally zero presence online and one of the worst websites I'd literally ever seen. And as you'll soon see, it wasn't just the fear of technology that was holding Rob back from making videos. But there were two things that stood out for me in terms of the barriers there too. There was that technology one there too, which I think was probably a little bit of a red herring. Like it wasn't the real issue there too. It was this fear about kind of being seen, and how was the community going to react to my video? Were nobody going to watch my video? And if people did watch that video for me, what were people going to say? Can you tell a little bit more about what was going on inside of your mind with that kind of fear?
You know, looking back, I think almost the fear of nobody watching was worse than what would they say.
Yes. Because what would that mean? Like if nobody watched your video, what would you have told yourself about that?
For lack of a better way to say, I'm not liked.
Yeah.
Nobody trusts me. Why the woe is me? Why doesn't anybody want to listen to me?
Now, if you're going to make a success of making videos, if you're going to increase your impact and influence in your community and your income inside your practice, then you need to begin by getting real about what's holding you back. Now, if you're telling yourself, like Rob did in the early days, that it was a fear of technology that was holding him back, when really it was a fear about being seen, or maybe you're like many of the people that reach out to me that are hiding underneath the umbrella of perfectionism. That's what I did in the early days. Telling yourself what's holding you back from making great videos is that you need a new camera, a microphone, or a fancy background, when really all that's holding you back is a fear of rejection. Now, regardless whether it be a fear of being seen, rejection, or maybe being trolled by people on the internet, there's one antidote that helps us move through all of these fears.
And then it's realizing too, it's not about me.
Yes.
That I think was a big thing. And I believe we talked a little bit about that on that first phone call as well.
Yes.
You know, this is bigger than me. It's not about me. It's about the people out there that are suffering and hurting.
Yes.
The people out there that are not being treated or managed properly. They're just being given more medications. Take this pill, take this pill, take this pill. And just getting pissed off about it, I guess, if I could be blunt.
The behavior change experts will tell us that if we want to increase the likelihood of us being able to do difficult things, then focusing on serving others is a really great place to start. Our news is full of stories of heroic, brave individuals who literally risk their life to save the life of another. Now, this mindset was enough to get Rob started. In fact, he was the perfect student. Within the first few months, he was making and editing and producing great little videos. He was increasing his views and engagement and interaction on the social media platform. In fact, he was even getting recognized around town. But he'd need more than this mindset if he were to get through this next challenge. One Friday afternoon, about 2 weeks ago, I received an email from Rob. And when I read it, my heart literally sank. Rob's worst fear with regards to videos had come true. You see, Rob, like many of you, had a deep-seated fear that one day some troll or hater would start to comment on his videos. Here's what happened next.
Every day I pop onto Facebook. That's where I've been posting all mine on Facebook. I've just been sticking to the one platform for now. And saw with my latest video that I'd posted, oh, I got some comments, cool. And so I brought them up, and they were not the nicest comments there. There's some guy, and I don't know if I can really repeat some of the things that he said, but they were pretty ignorant.
Well, they were beyond ignorant. Did you they were rude, insensitive, they were vulgar. If you're listening and watching this now and you have a fear about somebody saying some really cranky things underneath your videos, and if you imagine the most personal, insensitive and vulgar things, that's what this guy said. Multiple. It wasn't just one comment. There was a few comments, yeah?
3 comments.
Yeah.
And then I had noticed that he had shared them with all his friends, and he had over 1,000.
Now, I could get all Pollyanna with you and tell you that if you make your videos the right way, that you're going to get thousands of views, that everybody will love you, you'll never get rejected, no one will ever leave any negative comments. But that just wouldn't be honest of me. The truth of the matter is this: if you've got a message to share, if you're going to take a leadership position in your community, then you're going to need to get out of the stands and onto the court.
Well, if you're on the court, you're doing things.
Mm.
If you're in the stands, you're just passively watching.
Yep.
When you first talked about it, my thoughts about myself prior to doing this was, I'm not even in the stands. I don't even think, I'm still out in the parking lot, trying to get into the stadium. But when you're on the court, you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You're making yourself vulnerable. And I think going back to fear, I think that was part of the fear, being vulnerable.
Yes.
Publicly.
What have you learned over this 90 days with regards to your 2 original fears in around technology and being seen and or not being seen?
I can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it. That's probably the biggest thing I've learned. And if I can do it, anybody can do it, really. And I realize a lot of my fears were probably irrational.
Well, interesting, because what was great, and I want to stop you for a moment there. Some of them are irrational, but some of them are irrational because it actually happened. This is what I think is so strong about it. It actually happened, and you moved through it, and you're okay.
And I'm still standing.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm still putting videos out there.
What words of wisdom would you share with people who maybe are where you were 120 days ago?
The one thing I love, and I know you didn't want me to kind of plug your group, but I'm going to a little bit, the community. It's an awesome community of like-minded doctors, health practitioners, that you can count on, and thank you for the support and helping me do this. Yes, there's some risk, but manageable risk, I think.
Yes.
And especially when you have a community helping you and guiding you, and how to do it right and how to do it properly. I think it's a risk well worth taking. And I've also realized that, you know what, if I don't get some haters, maybe not quite what we had there, but I'm probably playing it a little bit too safe with what I'm puting out there, because I want people thinking. So if I'm not stirring up a bit of controversy, I'm not doing my job.
Now, I totally understand why we like to live life and practice in the stands, because when we're in the stands, we can never fail and we can never get hurt. But if you've got a message that you want to share, if you're wanting to increase your impact and influence and income, you can't do that from the stands. You need to get on the court. Now, I want to finish this video up and leave you with the wonderful words from the great Teddy Roosevelt from his poem called The Man in the Arena. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows, in the end, the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least while daring greatly, so that this place shall never be with those cold and timid souls, who neither know victory nor defeat.
I can do it. I can do it. That's probably the biggest thing I've learned. And if I can do it, anybody can do it, really.